Hello everyone, you're welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. In our top stories in this edition of the news, civil society organizations in the Republic of Cameroon condemn government for failing to solve the deepening Anglophone crisis that has been pulling on for close to 3 years today. They met in the economic capital, Douala, to discuss the terrible situation and they presented a disturbing situation in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Called on both parties involved in the crisis to drop guns and come together on the dialogue table. And the president of the Northwest chapter of the Cameroon English-speaking Journalists Association, McMillan, who was abducted by unidentified gunmen at Foncha Street in the Northwest regional capital, Bamenda, has been set free. He was liberated by his abductors earlier today. Those were our top stories. Civil society organizations in the Republic of Cameroon lamenting over the devastating and deadly consequences of the Anglophone crisis on human life and material properties in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. They met today here in the economic capital, Douala, and presented a disturbing situation as far as the socio-political and security crisis hitting the northwest and the southwest regions of the country is concerned, and they indicated that time has come for an end to the bloodshed, the killings, and of course the destruction of properties, burning down of villages and institutions, and the displacements of hundreds of thousands who are now internally displaced in different parts of the country, including the littoral and the west regions, and of course those who are now refugees in neighboring Nigeria. They presented a bleak picture of the situation. Take a listen to this extract of some members of Stand Up for Cameroon.
We are women of the northwest and southwest regions. We are members of Stand Up for Cameroon and victims of the problems in the northwest and southwest. My name is Kwa Elizabeth.
My name is Carmela. Our families are in the bushes. We are learning what we had never heard of before. We are the refugees and IDPs. We dance to the drumbeats of gunshots. We, as women, have learned to bury the dead. Our markets and our farms are empty. Feeding our children is a daily challenge. Our children have forgotten what a classroom looks like for more than 2 years.
Are you blind to our pain and sufferings? Are we from the northwest and southwest really your brothers and sisters? We are tired of burying our children in mass graves, tired of hiding in houses and bushes for most of us, tired of violence in the morning, violence in the afternoon, violence at night. Yesterday was burning villages in Kwakwa, Nake, Bole, now hospitals in Kumba. We are tired. We have come here today to ask you to join us to put an end to this violence. We have come here today to ask you to come and stand beside us. Raise your voice with us. Shout with us. Act with us. Stand and act until we put an end to the killing and dying. Stand up and act until we put an end to the violence. Stand up and act until the army and the armed groups have put down their guns.
And the civil society organizations that converged on the country's economic capital, Douala, today blamed government for failing to solve the crisis that has been pulling on for close to 3 years today, leaving several persons dead, villages burnt down, institutions equally burnt down, as well as private homes in several parts of the two Anglophone regions of the country. And of course, they called on both parties involved in the crisis to drop down guns and come together on a dialogue table. Take a listen to Nkwa Elizabeth. She's a civil society actor.
The government of Cameroon has failed, and if we don't go into a dialogue, they will fail and even fail the citizens. Because if you find a government where appointed ministers, about 50 of them are in prison, you find a government that starts a stadium on the day they are coming for football. You find a government that declares war on its own citizens. We have all gone into bushes, and we believe that if the government can help us, the dialogue table is ready. Seseko Ayoko and then Paul Biya are all here. So these two people can dialogue and talk to the armed groups and the armed force to drop their guns, and we go on a peace table.
And the government of the Republic of Cameroon has been undertaking a series of measures geared towards solving the deepening socio-political and security crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, from the creation of some institutions like the Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration Committee, as well as the Committee for Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, and also measures, notably the close to 13 billion francs yearly humanitarian aid to the internally and externally displaced persons, as well as a series of measures. Government ministers and other authorities who have been on the ground in the northwest and southwest regions of the country trying to find a way out of the Anglophone crisis. But for close to 3 years down memory lane, the situation has continued deepening, and this is the fact that civil society organizations and other critics, as well as political actors and non-governmental organizations, are using to blame the Cameroon government for failing to solve that crisis. And the Minister of Communication, René Sadi, has dismissed allegations that some soldiers burned close to 10 houses in the locality of Kumbu in the northwest region of the country. The information had been circulating on social media, and in a release, René Sadi said the information was false and that soldiers never burnt houses in Kumbu. They rather went chasing the pro-independence fighters. Innocent Aze has more in this report.
That's the whole place burnt.
Since Sunday, February 17 till present, over 50 houses have been razed to ashes in villages in Bui division of the northwest region, with occupants now homeless. Some have fled into bushes for shelter. A result of continuous gun battle between pro-independence fighters and the military. The population have blamed soldiers for burning the houses as they go in search of separatist fighters.
No easy.
René Emmanuel Sadi, Minister of Communication, says soldiers did not burn homes in Kumbu, Bui division. He describes informations relayed on social media and an international radio accusing soldiers of burning houses in Kumbu as fake. In a communique Thursday, February 21st, the government spokesperson said the elements of the National Defense Forces who have constantly been attacked by separatist forces have been taking necessary measures to protect the territorial integrity of the nation. While maintaining that soldiers did not put houses on fire, the minister praised their professionalism, bravery, and assured the people of their safety. The communication boss thus warns denizens against misinformation and manipulation.
ablaze in that part of the Bui Division, northwest region of the country, and it is the last incident of that magnitude after villages like Kwakwa and others in the southwest and many others in the northwest region of the country have completely been deserted after tens of houses were set ablaze by unidentified persons, with accusing fingers coming from all directions, government accusing separatist fighters and the population also accusing soldiers on the other hand. And the Northwest Regional President of the Cameroon English-speaking Journalists Association, Kamaserge, Ambe McMillan, has been set free. He was captured yesterday at Foncha Street in the Northwest Regional capital, Bamenda, by unidentified gunmen. He was set free earlier today. A Northwest correspondent, Bustela, was at his residence and compiled this report.
Excitement fills the home of Northwest-based journalists and president of the Northwest chapter of Cameroon Association of English-speaking Journalists, Ambe McMillan, shortly after news went viral on social media announcing his freedom from captivity. He was reportedly kidnapped by unknown gunmen and blindfolded to an unknown location on Thursday, February 21st, 2019.
Yesterday at about 2:30, unknown gunmen took me at gunpoint. I was on a bike heading to town around Foncha Street. The only thing they said from yesterday till this morning when I was released is that I advocate for school resumption, and which they've said no to that.
After spending the night with the abductors, Ambe McMillan has been released. The news of his unconditional release was received with shock and excitement by family, friends and colleagues.
I just saw him in front of the house, so I jumped on him. I was so happy.
I was very sad, but since by the grace of God, as all of us who know that God is great, He has done His will.
This is the first journalist to have been kidnapped since the beginning of what is today called the struggle for independence of the southern Cameroons. In the Northwest region, some media houses have suffered arson attacks. Others have been forced to change the time of some of their programs in a bid to catch up with curfew times, among other security challenges, as the crisis rocking the two English-speaking regions deepens. Ambe McMillan therefore appeals that
I would wish to use this medium to plead and at the same time to educate all the parties involved in a crisis or in struggles like the one we are facing or in a war, that the press, journalists, doctors, hospitals, students, schools should not be attacked. We should grow beyond this level and advance points that should make our economy or our country grow. Irrespective of whatever problem we may have, we will have solutions. But the years that will be lost, the lives that will be taken care of in due course at the hospitals, journalists must report. In that case, let journalists, media houses, let doctors, hospitals, let schools and pupils and students be left out of this.
Proud to his release, journalists and well-wishers are taking up a campaign on social media and some media houses advocating for his release, given that an attack on the journalist is an attack.
Bustela reporting there on the release of the Northwest Regional Chapter of the Northwest Regional Chapter President, that is of Kamaserge, the Cameroon English-speaking Journalists Association. In the report coming up next, we take a look at the impact of the Anglophone crisis on the hygienic state of the town of Kumba in the Southwest region. Manjikan Gabriel has more.
Kumba, chief town of Nome Division in the Southwest region, is one of the towns that is being disturbed by the ongoing crisis hitting the two Anglophone regions of Cameroon. As a result of the crisis, major areas in Kumba like Krama Junction, Ntoko Street, Anglican Junction, as well as Afiango Market and other major streets in Kumba have been abandoned in dirt. According to this mother, Sleeping is very difficult as a result of the increase in mosquitoes. More to that, they are only burning the dirt to reduce the pungent smell. She calls on the authority to take an action. During our tour of the town, we met some workers of the garbage company who were cleaning some dirt in some neighborhoods, and one of them told us, we have organized ourselves on how to clean the town, and because of the insecurity in certain areas, we can't move throughout the town.
Me the population, me they come for we because some of the places themselves are places no.
It should be noted that Kumba is not the only town suffering from the crisis, as the problem of refuge abandoned in town is faced by Bamenda and Buya.
Cameroon's Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Moule Kambi, was in the southwest regional chief town, Buya, today to launch the 2019 edition of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope that will be taking place tomorrow in an atmosphere completely different from previous editions as a result of the Anglophone crisis. And that competition is going to be taking place in amid tight security. Before Buya, Professor Narcisse Moule Kambi was in Limbe, where he visited some stadia. Limbe-based correspondent Davidson Maimo reports.
Professor Narcisse Moule, Minister of Sport and Physical Education, is among the few government officials who can tell the true story of the intensity and gravity of the Anglophone crisis. This is because, for his very first time on an official visit to the southwest region since his appointment by the President of the Republic, he came visiting in a military armored vehicle of the special unit of the National Gendarmerie, JPIC. The orders here are clear: take no chances, as the governor to the southwest region, Bernardo Calais Bilai, who have had the experience and is still living the experience, is sitting close to the minister in the armored vehicle. Security is of very high alert, as almost all the unit from the B, the Marine, special unit of the National Gendarmerie, and that of the police are all securing the minister convoy. After a brief stop at the training stadiums in Limbe and the Limbe Omisport Stadium, the minister says he is satisfied as work at the Omisport Stadium in Limbe is almost complete.
The site we have visited is ready, and we are very satisfied of the maintenance. Exactly, some additional work is needed, and after this additional work, it will be possible and necessary to assure the maintenance.
The roof of the official tribune has been erected, and work at the annex stadium is complete. The Limbe Omisport Stadium is the very first of all the stadiums in the country that can be said to be ready if the African Cup of Nations is to be played today in Cameroon.
Pupils of Government Primary School Limuk Hawk, situated some 16 kilometers away from Ezeka in the central region of the Republic of Cameroon, have not gone to school for a week now. Academic activities in that institution have been paralyzed by some supernatural happenings in the school campus. Details with Sumanji Kangebre.
Government Primary School Limok Hawk. Teachers as well as pupils and parents have been barred from entering the school compound. This is because padlocks accompanied with red pieces on them have been used to seal the school. According to a teacher in the school, we arrived at the campus in the morning and discovered that the school has been sealed with red pieces everywhere. We suspected some person persons, but from every indication, they say it's parents, but we are not sure. The kids haven't entered the classrooms just like the teachers because of fear. The situation caused pupils of government primary school Limok Hawk to be unable to study, a thing that surprised even the head of the village. It is a very ugly situation that we are confronting, because since the creation of this school, we haven't seen such a thing, though we have some misunderstandings, but never at this point that a school will be blocked. Alerted about the situation at the primary school, the divisional officer organized a crisis meeting, after which the brigade commander was sent to the field and some of the padlocks were removed. Investigations are on course to know those who sealed the classrooms.
Coming up next, Talking Point. We are receiving a Federalist crusader in this newscast at a time when the form of the state of the Republic of Cameroon is seriously threatened by the Anglophone crisis, with some fighting for a separation while others are fighting for decentralization and others fighting for federalism. And we are receiving Ade Anu, who is the home front coordinator of the Federalists, one of the persons struggling to have Cameroon return to the federal system of government. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
Why did you choose to fight for federalism?
We think that this is a state, the form of a state that will give everybody equality. Federalism is a system where everybody will be able to ask questions to those they voted for, and those whom we have voted for are answerable to the people and not to those who appointed them, as in the current state of the form of the state.
But what you're fighting for appears to be a taboo to the Yaoundé administration. We have heard some authorities saying that the form of the state is non-negotiable.
Yeah, there was taboo. The head of state in one of his end-of-year addresses told us that there is no taboo in any of the forms of the state here in Cameroon. There is the freedom of expression, the freedom to ask what you think it is right, and that's why about 2 or 3 million of us who believe that the federal system is the best, we have decided, after looking at all the calamities being caused, atrocities being caused by the various groups, the unionists and the separatists, we have decided to come out and call for a return to federalism.
You're calling for a return to federalism. How are you making the call?
Yeah, we are right now appearing on television. It's just a crusade, calling on the state and calling on the population to know, to live what they are fighting for, which is a white elephant project, and then come back, meet us, let us put together, call the republic, the president of the republic, to take us back to federalism where we were between 1961 up to 1972.
Have you been to the northwest and the southwest regions to talk to the people about this? Have you been to Yaoundé to meet the authorities to make your call heard?
We've been going out. We've been to some political leaders. We've met with Afanyi for Bonabe who was a candidate during the election. Some of our members are actually candidates were actually candidates during the last presidential elections. We have, for instance, O.C. Joshua and
the SDF has been canvassing for federalism for several decades.
Akere Muna, they are all federalists with us, and they were members during the last elections. Being to the northwest region, actually, for the moment, we have not been there because we were blocked by paperwork, so we could not go out without actually being recognized. Else, you will be asked questions: who are you and what are you canvassing for?
And the decision is in Yaoundé. Have you tried to knock some doors, some administrative doors in Yaoundé?
Yeah, we started knocking doors before the last cabinet shake-up, and some of the persons we started meeting were actually removed during the last cabinet shake-up. So now we have to go back and start the process all over again.
All right. So you believe that federalism can actually bring an end to this crisis?
Federalism is the golden solution. There are two extremes, and we are in the middle. There are two extremes. There are the separatists, and there are the unionists, or those who believe that the status quo should remain. But we think that federalism is the golden solution, because with federalism, everybody has a place on the table, and there will be no disturbance. Once you vote for somebody, after 3, 4, 5 years, he gives you a reply of what he or she has been doing, and if the reply is not satisfying, flush him out and bring in a new person who will work and give us replies according to our desires and not according to the person who voted, who appointed him there.
And you're also preparing to attend the Anglophone General Conference whenever it will be coming up?
Yeah, very much. We are very much prepared, and we have been preparing since October, November. Each time they said the conference was coming up, we have a strong team here in Cameroon. We have a strong team out of Cameroon. We have been preparing in all the means, financially, materially, and all the light. We have been preparing for the all Anglophone and the Anglophone General Conference at any moment that is coming up.
Why are you preparing for the conference? You believe that the solution can come out of that conference?
The Cardinal and the College of Conveners who convene the conference said, I quote, when we will go and contact the people and hear what their problems are, we will then send our report to the head of state, who is the father of the nation, and our recommendations. And we believe that the only best way, the conference is like some sort of the start of a dialogue. The best way to solve the Anglophone problem for the moment is dialogue. And if that conference is the start of a dialogue, when they go, they get they hear what the people are complaining about. They come now, they table it to the head of state with recommendations, and not only to the head of state, but to the international community. And then from there, it's a way forward.
After the meeting, the last meeting of the AGC conveners in the Northwest Regional Capital, Bamenda, it was agreed that some of the conveners were going to travel abroad to meet some persons in order to galvanize them and bring them home to attend that event. And Ellie Smith, who is the spokesperson, has been going around some countries abroad to meet with some of the Anglophones, notably in the framework of galvanizing them, listening to them, getting their opinions, their views, in order to adequately prepare them for the conference.
Yeah, we are here because the information that we gathered on social media, read by Mr. Jomba Akoro of the consortium, is not in line with what you are giving us now. We are here, we were on Tuesday with the Cardinal to ask from him, because Mr. Jomba Akoro in his information said the AGC has died a natural death, and it will be swallowed up by another conference that is being organized in the United States of America in the month of March, where the Cardinal will be attending. So when we got
official information from the spokesperson of the organizing committee, I'm talking about Ellie Smith, a veteran journalist, indicates that the AGC is being prepared, just like probably the Cardinal must have told you, Christian Cardinal to me, is being prepared with all the serenity, and he's abroad meeting with the different stakeholders, so to speak, or the other Anglophones who are abroad, in order to bring them all together to this event where discussions will be held in view of finding a way out of the crisis.
If that is the recent position by Mr. Ellie Smith, then we are happy about it. But as at the moment, if we've seen pictures of Mr. Ellie Smith meeting with some leaders, they are right there on the social media. Unfortunately, the general coordinator of the Federalists, Dr. Wilson Esame, is in Kansas, United States of America, and up to this moment, Mr. Ellie Smith have not met with him. We don't know whether he's still planning to meet with him or not, but we reacted because the Federalists have not been contacted up till this moment.
All right, they will surely be contacting you in the days ahead. Thanks a lot, Ade, and you for coming.
Thank you.
And we're going to wrap up this newscast with these images of the General Assembly of Group La Nouvelle Expression, comprising Equinoxe Television, Equinoxe Radio, and La Nouvelle Expression newspaper, which took place today in the conference room of the media conglomerate here in the economic capital, Douala. And during that meeting, the President Director General of Group La Nouvelle Expression made an evaluation of the year 2018, indicating that the media conglomerate took an important step forward, but more is still to be done, and the media conglomerate is determined to keep on moving forward to be the best and remain the best. He congratulated some journalists and technicians of Equinoxe Radio and Television who were awarded a series of prizes in different categories, prizes awarded by Mediatude in the course of this year. Out of over 24 prizes that were in contest for 2018, Equinoxe Television and Radio grabbed 13 of those prizes, and the managing director of Equinoxe Radio and Television, and of course La Nouvelle Expression newspaper, called on all his staff to continue working hard in order to grab everything in the future and remain the best. And of course, he called on his collaborators to put everything in place so that the media conglomerate can keep on moving forward and making a greater exploit in Cameroon, in Africa, why not in the world at large. And that's it for this edition of the news on Equinoxe Television. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. Goodbye.